Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is the one and only Chichi, back with another episode of Chichi's Comeback Corner. And this week, we have a very exciting interviewee. We have a very exciting guest on the show. He's one of the best fighters, I guess, that we've got on the African continent, and he's definitely one of the most popular fighters that we've got on the African continent. So, yeah. Without further ado, let me introduce you guys to the one and only three-time EFC Featherweight Champion, currently also still reigning, the one and only Igeu Smiley Kabesa.
Yo, what up, Chichi? What's happening? You should be my hype man.
You know
God
this, you
damn,
know this.
I like. Yeah, you killing it. It's good. I like it.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
Igeu, I
what's
know
up?
you are. I know you're always busy. I know you're always busy. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. How's everything?
Yeah,
How's fight camp going? And yeah.
sure. Nah, everything's good. I must say. I mean, there's these challenges every day, but the fight camp is going very well. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you say fight camp, you say fight camp. You know what I mean? But I mean, I never stopped training since the last fight. I mean, there was no injuries whatsoever, so I had no reason to stop training. So I carried on training. I had boys also competing, qualifying, and all of that. So I mean, big ups to one of my boys. He just qualified for the Olympics. Now down in the
Ooh.
year, he qualified during Sunday. So yeah, big ups to him. Stain is going out there. Big ups. So yeah, we've been working hard, man. We don't stop. I mean, got my boy, Triple R Rudy, all the way in the UFC in the tough house there as well. So I mean, we can't stop working. So we basically never not have a camp. We're always in camp.
We know that, like, okay, well, I see that you're always like training and all of that, and even if you're not active in the EFC Hex, we see that you're out here doing like the wrestling competitions and everything of the sort. So can you tell us a little bit more about, like, why your wrestling pedigree is so high and these wrestling competitions that you stay active with?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is we try to keep ourselves relevant. I mean, in terms of competition, because I mean we train so much and so hard. I mean, if you're not competing, it kind of makes it kind of like you're diluting the whole process. So we try to stay sharp in competition mindset. So always competitive, um, in a good way as well. So it helps as well with the fighting in my wrestling. My wrestling picks up so much because I'm constantly on it. Not just my wrestling, also my jits, also my boxing, everything. I just do it so much now that I'm even doing all these comps. And what's nice about it, you get challenged in these competitions, so you get to actually pick up your game because there's people that's just basically just focusing on one sport. So you're trying to compete with those guys, and I mean, it's going well. I mean, the wrestling is going very well. I mean, as you guys can see, yes, it's crazy. Yeah,
Now, I know you posted on your Instagram also about like how your son had also gotten into wrestling, and so I think you're kind
yeah,
of serving as like his father, his mentor, and his coach. So can you just tell us about
yeah.
like how it feels to be training a little mini Iga Kabesa coming up?
To be honest with you, it's a long road. Like this boy just started. It's been a year now of him wrestling. So Sean is killing it. It's for the second year now. He got third place in nationals last year. For his first year, that's very good. I mean, he went playing against kids that have been doing it longer than him, and he's just going out there showing his talent. I mean, it makes me proud as a dad. I mean, I love it, man. I stand on the match. I work with them. All three of them, I work with them. From the smallest one to the biggest one, I work with them. I've got Coach Jan working with them as well. I got Rudy also work with them as well. So we've got a whole big team for them, trying to prepare them for the future as well. I mean, they might not end up becoming fighters, but I mean, yes, they're gonna have a very good wrestling game.
Like in the sports world, right? Especially like with other sports and stuff like that, we get to see a lot of legacies being built, right? Where like someone's a third generation fighter or something like that. Do you think that right now with your son Sean actually training to become a wrestler himself, do you think that this could be the start of the Kabesa lineage in, I don't know, wrestling or even in MMA?
To be honest with you, it's nice to think like that, but the reality of the matter is, I I don't want him to actually be a fighter. You know, if it was up to me, he wouldn't be doing it. But I mean, he'll make the decision when he gets big enough, and then we'll go with whatever he makes a decision of. But yeah, man, I mean, it'll be the dream. Think about it. I do it. He does it. His boy does it. His boy's boy does it. It becomes a big thing, and we get smarter in it as the years goes. So I mean, it's dreams, you know. We sit down, we think about that and the reality of it, you know. I mean, there's three boys. They don't all three of them have to do the exact same thing, you know. So
Mm.
we'll see what happens, you know.
Like right now, what you're talking about, like in terms of you building your legacy and all of that, I feel like if there's any fighter who is very deserving of that, it's you. Because, you know, we know that your amateur career began in 2013. And that same year, after your three amateur fights, you went ahead and you started off your professional career at EFC 25, I believe.
Mm.
So,
Chichi. Let's just go back there a little bit. This is things that nobody knows. You know, back in the days when we were amateurs, it's not like now where everything is being counted for. You know, we had
yeah.
we would go to events and fight without even being prepped for that fight. You know, like for instance, so there was an event. I was the AFL champion, I was the Gauteng champion, and I was the Cape Town champion. And in
Yeah.
being champion in all those three organizations, I've had like over quite a few fights. You know, there's
What's
nights
quite a
you
few?
know,
What's
like
the ballpark?
you know, to be honest with you, if I have to bring the number up, it'll be like I'm making up things. But what I'm just trying to explain is, go, you know, for instance, now I'd go to an EFC event and then somebody pulls out and then they're like the fight's off. Back in the days, we never had that. Back in the days, if you pull out, whoever can fight in the crowd is jumping in. You know, so it was a
Mhm.
thing of the scales didn't really matter that much. We wanted to fight, we wanted to do it. That's what people don't understand, the drive that we have in the head. It doesn't matter how whole where you're from, you know what I mean? So we come from that kind of a generation where amateur fights would just happen out of the blue, you know? You go
Yeah.
all the way to Durban to just go chill out to watch fights, and when you get there, now you gotta fight. You know, some guy pulled out, you know. So so no, look, I'm sitting here, I've had about just over 20 amateur fights, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And then only I joined in the EFC, and all of those fights happened within a year.
All of this between 2013, like that's just in 2013.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But then that means that your average was like more than one fight per month.
You compete every day, like every weekend. I mean, so when you compete every week in wrestling, well, competing becomes a norm. You understand? So when I started fighting, I took it as that. It was because I mean,
Yeah.
you're amateurs. We weren't getting paid for it. There was no sponsorship that would jump on board and pay you for it. So it was as if you're still an amateur wrestler. So you just went in there and you just wrestled the guys. You know, I jumped into a gym. I was with a guy called Wade Henderson. We jumped there. He taught me jiu-jitsu. And all we just did is we jumped in the cage and we just wrestled the guys and we did some jits. That's it. And we just won all the time. It worked because nobody could wrestle at that caliber. Nobody could keep up,
Mm.
you know. And then when we jumped into the EFC, the dream was to fight for the lightweight strap. And because we were fighting at lightweight, we didn't want to cut a lot of weight. There was no need for it, you know. Then
Mm.
the more you grow, the smarter you become. You join better gyms, guys that have knowledge, and they teach you and they show you, and you get better. You know what I mean? And then you start saying, okay, this is actually the way it's supposed to go, or this is a good one to go with. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I come from a different time where fighting was what it was. You know, it was normal. Even when I was a kid, we fought in the streets. You know, like it was. I mean, I grew up in a shelter where you had to fucking fight for your food. You know, yeah, you
Mm.
fought for food in the morning, you fought for food at night. You constantly fighting, so it becomes a norm. Fighting is whatever. You know, let's do it. You know, but
Yeah.
yeah,
My word.
shit.
Bigger.
Yeah, yeah,
So a lot of people, right? A lot of like MMA pundits specifically,
yeah.
right? MMA pundits and people who have a lot of gravity, I guess, in the MMA world have called you the best wrestler on the African continent, including the likes of Simon Stevens, right? The legendary Simon Stevens. Is that something that you also agree with? Is that something that you take pride in, calling yourself the best wrestler on the African continent?
To be honest with you, it depends on how you look at it. You know, I mean, I come from the wrestling world, so when I look at things, I'm like, if we're talking specifically just wrestling, then no, I'm not. Then no, I'm not. I'd love to be. I can prove it, given the opportunity. You know, but I've never had the opportunity, so I'm not gonna even say I am. You understand? But when it comes to the cage, understanding wrestling for MMA, yeah, I think I'm the best. I personally believe that. Um, I mean, any other person can prove me wrong. I mean, they can try, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when it comes to wrestling for fighting in this continent, I believe I've got the 411. I mean, I'll make a simple example. My last fight with Exen, perfect double. He shoots, he brings me up, he puts me down, but he finds himself on his back. You know, things like that. It doesn't happen by mistake. You know, there was something that was done to him that he didn't understand, because you can't have the base double leg, you can't have the base landing, and then all of a sudden you look again, the guy you're putting down is on top of you. You know, these things to these things. So, like I say to you, you can say whatever you want to say, you can think whatever you want to think. I personally believe when it comes to wrestling MMA, I got the 411. And also my team, the guys that I work with, we have a very good understanding of what we are doing in time when it comes to wrestling and jiu-jitsu and our striking, how to make it all work. And the conversations we have is how do we put it together better. You know, it's never singular, it's always how do we put it together better.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you were at the EFC 2024 press conference, right? And that's where they were basically laying out the plans that they have for the year. And
Yeah,
just one of those things, right? Where it seems like it's a very exciting year. And EFC 111, of course, you weren't in attendance, but it's one of those things where we saw your good friend Nkazimulo Zulu become a double champion.
yeah,
And
man.
yeah, so what were your thoughts on that fight?
To be honest with you, man, like I I believe in Sulu. It doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter what people say. I believe in him. I always saw him win that fight. Like, nah, I give nothing wrong with Gift's style of fighting, and he's nothing cool guy, nice guy, calm, chilled. I actually like the guy, you know. But when it comes to fighting, I think yes, Zulu was just miles away ahead of him. But yeah, man, I always back Zulu up, man. I was so happy. You should have seen. I think I went live on that night as well. Just like talking about the fights or whatever. But yeah, he was phenomenal. He looked good. He looked like the guy I know, the guy that was on his way going to the tough house. He looked like that guy back in the day. So it was good to see again.
Yeah, and Iga, that's actually very accurate because I remember on Sia Chaka's vlog, Chuck
Hmm.
guys. So on his vlog, I remember you actually made a prediction on that fight, and you were like 10 toes down, saying that Zulu's going to win that fight. So
Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm a very good. I think I've become very good at analyzing fights and fighters, and looking at what the other guy has and the one that doesn't. But when I looked at the two fights, their styles is very similar. It's just that one is very more experienced. You know,
mm,
if you watch Gibbs' fights, it's very calm in the first round, very calculative, seeing where the holes is. You know, Zulu exact same thing. Only difference is that Zulu gives you reads, and then he catches you off those reads. And as the rounds progress, he gives you more of those reads, and it just adds more punishment into it. So that's what I'm saying. You look at the guys; it's just, they was an experience thing. It was not a skill thing. You know, so like I said, man, I backed him up properly. I should have put all my money on it. I should have put my paycheck on that one.
So now it seems like you're out here trying to make the same history. As I mentioned in the intro, guys, Igeu Kabesa is a three-time featherweight champion, and right now he's currently in the middle of his third reign. And it seems like you're not willing to let go of that title anytime soon, but you are now moving back up to lightweight, and you are
Yeah.
challenging for that title, which the lightweight division has seen a very tumultuous period in terms of transitions
Mm,
upon transitions and all of that. And you've been calling for that
mm,
shot for a while. So can you just
mm.
tell us a little bit more about like how you're feeling right now as you gear up for a shot at the lightweight title?
You know, when I sit down and I think about it, and I'm like, yo, that day has finally come, and it took so long. I don't know why it was never wanted to be given to me. I never ask questions. I just ask, and they say no. It's like whatever, man. I'll just keep proving myself that I deserve it, you know. But it has come now. You know, I feel, to be honest with you, you know, when you have how can I put it? It's like a feeling that scares you of what's gonna happen after you've won the belt.
Hmm.
Have you ever like it's a good feeling, but it scares you. You're like, whoa, I'm gonna have two of those, so it just plays with my mind a lot, and especially when I start training and I start visualizing myself in that position, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna go even harder now. So yeah, it just excites me the fact that I'm gonna challenge myself again at lightweight. I mean, I'm not naturally a lightweight anymore, but I mean, what is that? I mean, what is lightweight? We'll fight. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good though. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very ready for this one.
Okay. So as you are right now prepping for, the lightweight title fight against Galega Kabanda, it is also one of those things though where the featherweight division, there's a lot of happenings there. We've got the featherweight Grand Prix happening, and it seems like quite a bit of competition is coming your way. All of them want a piece of you. This is basically a race to the king. This is a
Yeah,
race to the king. Four of the best
yeah,
that the featherweight division has to offer. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you haven't faced either of them. So
yeah.
yeah, because in the featherweight Grand Prix, we've got Stephen Goncalves, Ayanda Zwane, Billy Oosthuizen, and Simbarashe Hokonya. And they're all going to be just duking it out to see who's going to get the shot
Oh
at
my
you.
God. It wouldn't be any better than that, to be honest with you. Listen, I've been sitting in that featherweight division. I've cleared that division I don't know how many times.
True.
So it's like bringing in new blood. All these guys want a piece of the belt. It's fun, man. It makes me happy because now I am keeping busy for a reason. You know what I mean? Like those times you'd come to training and you're training like, fuck, there's nobody to fight, nobody wants to fight, it's hard to get a fight. Why am I training so hard? Relax. But now it's like, wait a minute, we gotta keep going, we got a busy year, you know what I mean? So I mean, after winning this lightweight strap, I want to fight one of those guys from that Grand Prix thing. Straight after them, I want to defend that lightweight strap again. I think defend that belt twice this year. I feel like that lightweight division's got a lot of fighters
Mm.
um that needs to be tested. A lot of guys have holes. A lot of holes need to be exposed. So I feel we got a busy year on my shoulders. That's if plan stays the same. Things do change, but yeah,
One thing we know
I
about you,
can't say
Igeu, is
much.
that you're always ready for a fight.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta work, man. You gotta work hard. I mean, think about it. If I was a part-time fighter, I wouldn't. I don't think I would be so. Well, I don't know. I can't tell. I'm a full-time fighter, so I get my joy from doing what I'm doing, and it's worth
Mm.
it. Yeah.
Now, we recently had, well, I make it seem like I've got a whole team backing me. No, guys, me. I had I had Ayanda Zwane recently on the show, and Ayanda is basically going on a campaign. I'm not sure if you follow him on social media or anything of the sort, but he's basically started a whole campaign of kind of hashtag coming for everything. Right now, he
Mm,
is in this featherweight Grand Prix, but that
mm.
bantamweight title is also something that he's also been eyeing for a while, and so he's planning on also challenging for that. But he's like, you know what, ne? Since Igor's also getting the lightweight, I might as well also go after that title too. He's trying to be triple champion off of you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Ah, it's nice to talk. It's nice to talk a lot of stuff that you like to talk, and we all like to dream, and we all like to want things. Um, I'm one person that I I prove it by showing it. I do it, and then it's done. You know what I mean? I don't have to go out there and say I'm gonna go fetch the welterweight title. If I want the title, I win. When I'm done winning, I tell everybody, listen, yeah, I want that belt. I'm not gonna not. I have to show my actions. I mean, what's the worth? You know what I mean?
Mm,
That's the one problem, guys. They don't know how to build worth. You gotta build your worth. You gotta make yourself more worthy. You want the
yeah.
bantamweight title. Why do you deserve to get it? I mean, have you even won the Grand Prix you're in right now? Where do you even rank in the lightweights? Like, you talk a lot of smack and you don't even have facts, right? You don't even know what you're doing. But anyways, I mean, good luck on him and what he wants to do. And I wish him the best. I hope that he achieves it. as we are also working on other goals. He's working on coming to get the belts that I want. I'm working on going to get belts that other people have. So I guess it's the norm, right? Yeah, I wish him well with his goals. But if he wants to ever have a conversation, we'll do it in the hex. He must just keep winning.
Okay. So we know that that featherweight Grand Prix is actually happening at EFC 112 as well. The same card that you
Yeah,
were gonna actually be headlining also. So
yeah.
I'm assuming that you're gonna be watching the fights pretty closely. Obviously, you're gonna be focused on your fight, but like it's also gonna be one of those things where you're gonna be focused very closely on these fights. And then by the time that the final is happening between whichever two decide to push forward up into those finals, will we see you there actually in attendance, live in attendance, watching the fight closely, perhaps a face off with whoever wins the final of the Grand Prix?
To be honest with you, I don't really watch the guys when they fight on the night. I think I'm there for a show, so I'm not gonna be, I'm this guy. If I start watching fights and I want to start analyzing, I'm like, oh man, you should have done that. You know what I mean? So it's one of those like I'm not gonna even pay attention to it. It doesn't really bother me that much. The moment they put his name in front of my face, sign the papers, and I start my work. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna pay attention to them in that sense. It doesn't make much of a difference in my life, whether they win, whether they lose. The only time it makes a difference is if their name comes up in front of my face. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm not worried about 112 or keeping an eye on them or whatever the case is. I'm there to do my business, get done what I need to get done, and then yeah, man, wake up in the morning and carry on with the hustle. You know what I mean? Until that name comes up, I mean, I ain't got worries with you, man. And then on top of that, man, like these guys, they just need to battle it out. They need to do what they need to do. I feel like they should have put a bit more names into that Grand Prix, just to make it more fun. But I mean, it's something to build the number one contender for the next 2 months or something like that. So I understand where they're coming from, but in true honesty, it doesn't bother me in any way whatsoever. Doesn't matter who it is. Yeah.
Iga, I
I
know
don't
that
know.
you've had 19 fights in your career, right? So this is actually about to be a 20th. Oh my word, that is actually a big deal. So congratulations on
Jeez, I'm
that.
hitting a 20th mark. I didn't even realize that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
25. What? I've always wanted to be 20. And I've always looked at guys like Martin van Staden's record, and I'm like, God damn, I'll never record as big as that. Like, I have so many fights. Yeah, am I hitting 20? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we know that you've got a whole lot of this, and you've faced a plethora of like opponents. Some of them you've even rematched them, like Reynaldo Exon, for example. But
Mhm.
I just want to know from your perspective, who has been your favorite opponent, like in your entire career, professional career?
Oh, oh man, let me think. I've had some dope fights though. Like I've had some fights when I came out of them, I was like, wow, that was actually. And I've had like some fights where I can't even remember. Um, Shit, who can it be? It must literally be against Danny in the first fight with Danny Henry. I enjoyed that fight so much because like he was so lost. He didn't know what the hell's hitting him. He didn't know where's it coming from whatsoever. Like I'm trying, but I just don't know what I'm doing. That was one of the favorites. That's probably like number one. But that one or Peter Queedy. I enjoyed the Peter Queedy one, I must say. Like the guy
Yeah.
was so cocky. He was so like, oh, look at me, I'm chilling with Connor. I'm about to bowl, like I'm about to make it rain on this guy. And he had this whole thing going about him. And it was like, shit, I'm about to fucking go toe to toe with someone that trains with Connor. And that time Connor was like smacking everybody left,
Pop
right, and
in.
center. Yeah, it was popping that left cross. He was just going crazy. So it was like, oh man, it's gonna be cool. I think it's gotta be between those two. Like the most fights I enjoyed. I actually enjoyed the process of the fight. I enjoyed the fight itself. You know, the most memorable one was Paulo. Was it Paulo? Pablo. That one, that guy, Paulo
Yeah.
Silva or something like that. That guy. Oh, that one was the most memorable. I must say. I must say. I couldn't get over those
So,
pants he had on. It felt weird.
so you've had some great fights. You've had some great fights
Man.
overall.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I've had
But
some
then,
fights where I can't even remember.
but
Like
then
I
right
had to go
now,
rewatch
right?
the fight. Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of those things where, though, at the same time, it feels like you've kind of pushed through everyone that you possibly can push through. But at the EFC 2024 press conference, we saw a name thrown in, and like you got very excited. You were talking about like even having goosebumps off of that name, and that's the one and only Boyd Allen. So, because
Yeah.
obviously you guys have had two cancelled fights in the past where you guys were supposed to
Yeah.
lock up, but then things just didn't work out. And so, can you just tell us a little
Yeah.
bit more about why exactly you want that fight so much?
It's it's not that I want it that much, you know what I mean? Like, it's a thing of saying if Boyd is coming back into MMA and gonna fight in the UFC, what other fight do you want to put him up against? What else do you want to put him up against? You know what I mean? Like, I love Boyd a lot. I dig him. I dig his brother. They're cool people. They never had beef with Boyd in any way whatsoever. You know what I mean? There's no bad blood or like none of that, man. It's like I just look at it in the sense of competition. You know, if if we have to fight, I think we'll be able to test each other very well in all
Mm,
aspects. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot to it than just the fight. You know, so I have nothing against Boyd like whatsoever, dude. Like the guy, fuck the guy. We've been boys, man, till today. I mean, we don't talk or anything like that. But I mean, it's not like if I'm a pledge had to break out now, I wouldn't go kill you. You wouldn't be the first guy I go kill. You know what I mean? So like, one of those things. I'll probably be with the guy like, yo, dude, where the hell you at, man? I need some protection. Where's your gun? You know what I mean? So it's more of that nature. It's not that I've got anything against it. I just enjoy that competition. I think us competing would be good. And I mean, we don't have to. It doesn't matter. It's whatever. You know what I mean? Uh, but if he's back and he wants to fight, I'd love to dance with him. It's cool. I mean, not like we've never trained before. It's not like I don't know him in any way, whatsoever the case. And so, yeah, man, like it excites me. Things like that excites me. You know? Yeah, I think I'm starting to look beyond just um winning and losing. You know, for me, it's the experience I'm going through as well, implementing what is new and what is old, and see what's working. You know, and
mm,
things like that. I think I'm just growing into the sport more than anything.
wow. But then now it seems like you're planning on being busy this year. We're gonna get an active Igeu Kabesa this year, both in the featherweight division and in the lightweight division, right? I
Yeah.
have a question, right? And you actually kind of touched on this a little bit, right? You were talking about like how you tend to analyze and be analytical and all of that. So I wanted to know, is commentary something that we could at some point, maybe down the road, potentially see you get into, maybe as a color commentator? Because you're probably one of the best fighters.
No, so look, yeah, man. Like I've always wanted to do something like that. I've always felt like I can. I mean, with practice, I'm sure I can. I feel like I've got the voice. Maybe not. I think I do. You know, when I listen to myself speak, I'm like, wow, I actually speak well. You know, and I think also like commentary is something that's very big that I also wanted. I remember once I've asked EFC to do it, and they were like, no, I need to. I don't have the voice. You know, and then the other time they were like, no, I need what? Anyways, I forgot what they said. But anyways, I'm like, you know what? I'd love to do commentary. I know what I'm talking about. I know what people should be doing in the certain positions that they get into. I know how to break fighters down. So I feel like I should. I mean, that's me. I'd love to do something like that. But at the same time, I mean, if it's not the time for it, I'm not gonna try, you know, force onto it. I mean, it'll come if it has to.
Speaking of things coming when if they're going to come to you right now, I just want us to touch on this topic just a little bit, right? Just briefly touch on the topic of your global aspirations. Right now, you've dominated the African continent, but obviously, we know that this is not the ceiling that you'd like to hit. You'd probably like to go a bit further. Can you tell us a little bit
Yeah.
more about your journey with regards to like looking for like international gigs, international exposure, and like how everything on that end is going?
So fuck, we just missed another window again. It's actually it's like a demotivating thing. demotivates you. But I mean, I don't run on motivation. I run on discipline. So I think that's just the difference. But I mean, we are definitely looking, or not looking. We do have the East a promotion we're working with.
Mm.
But I mean, we've got one or two issues that we're dealing with. I mean, we are living in Africa. I mean, I don't have to explain to everybody the processes that goes through here. Everybody understands how South Africa works or Africa works, or whatever the case is. So I mean, I don't want to bring up bad names, and stuff like that, but we do have some issues in our governance or our policies or whatever the case is, or people that work for the work that they should be doing, they're not doing. So we're having delays and delays and delays. So, I mean, we do have court orders that we are putting in places now that we want to actually, file for stuff like the process done. We just missed another window now. We're supposed to jump in there at the PFL. um, with the season that was just starting out. We missed on that one, but I mean, look, it's been 10 years working towards this lightweight title. I mean, you know what I mean? It takes time. These things take time, I guess. You just stay disciplined and dedicated to your craft. I mean, everything else will come. The plan is to definitely fight overseas. Hopefully, I mean, I am planning everything currently with the EFC because I have to. I mean, I want to keep busy, but we all of us have an understanding and agreement that so does anything come up, when the time comes that I have to go, I'm going, and I mean, we're still having discussions. I still want to be able to keep these belts and still fight at the PFL, do fights at the PFL and at the EFCs. I mean, I want to keep those belts. I want whoever's the best guy to beat me on that night for that belt. I don't want to just give up the belt. I want the best guy to take it, you know. But I mean, if it doesn't get to that, then it's whatever as well. It's just what it is. But the plan is definitely jump in those um international promotions. But hopefully we get into it soon.
Hopefully, we also keeping our fingers crossed on the side.
Yeah.
Iga,
Thanks.
every time I see you, you're wearing some sort of merch with your name on it, ne? Right now you're wearing a different shirt. Where can people find this merch? Where can people find this merch?
So basically, guys, no. So listen, I haven't. How can I put it? It's only the stores are only here in Polokwane. We only have one store here in Polokwane, and we haven't started anything online yet. I haven't done anything to send out to people or whatever the case is. But everything is just here in Polokwane, so we're just catering for the guys here first. Want to see the interest, and make it more of a local brand this side first before we go all out. But yeah, man, I mean, I try to keep my brand on me all the time. I try to show my sponsors wherever I go all the time, but yeah, at this moment, if you ask me anything about fighting, I'll sell it. When it comes to my clothing brand, I take my time with it. I feel like I don't want to rush into things. I've made so much mistakes when it comes to business. So I want to take my time with this one. I want to make sure it's right.
Okay. Well, I'll be best believe I'll be there. I'm getting some merch, guys. Soon enough, I'm gonna be getting merch. As soon as that
Yeah,
store hits, I'm on it.
we'll hook you up. Don't worry, we'll hook you up nice. Are you gonna be at the event when I'm fighting?
Yeah, definitely. You know this. You
Okay,
know this.
we'll
I'm always
we'll
gonna
br-
be
we'll,
there. I'm always
we'll
gonna be
bring some
there.
merch. We'll bring you some.
Thank you. Anyway, Iga, oh my god, guys, please, ne, I'm not angimpapeli, ne, it's just Iga and I have we're very friendly with each other, so please. Anyway, not the point. Iga, where can people find you on social media? If the people want to interact with you, see what you're up to and all of that, where can people find you?
But all time my social media, but I'm not, guys. Like, on a serious note, I'm just busy. It's hard for me to sit on this phone and just keep putting on posts and stuff like that. But trust you me, it's gonna come. Anyways, you guys can find me on Instagram at Igeu_Smiley_Kabesa. On Facebook is just Igeu Kabesa. On Twitter is iSmiley59. So yeah, I mean, don't ask me why iSmiley, guys. I was a kid when I started the account, so it still makes sense in my head though. But I mean, I don't have to explain to anybody anymore. You know what I mean? But it's good.
Next
Oh
time
yeah,
I
on
get you
TikTok
on
it's
the
just Igeu
show,
Kabesa.
still Igeu Kabesa on TikTok.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I will make sure that I link that down in the description, guys. But next time that we get Igor on the show, that's going to be question number one. Why ice money? Why? Why ice money? That's the first question, guys.
Oh
Please
man.
remind me. But Iga is fighting at EFC 112. He is the co-main event up against Kalega Kabanda for the lightweight title, for the EFC lightweight title. He is aiming for double champion status, and we'll be there, guys. We'll be seated. Iga, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you
I
so much.
appreciate.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me up onto your show. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me your time. And just thank you to all my sponsors and myself as well. And thank you to EFC. Everybody, see you guys at the event. I hope you're paying attention. And yeah, follow this page, follow Chichi, follow myself. Much love.
Everybody, bye.